So yeah, with the introduction of mobile in our lives, we've seen a massive explosion of apps. We all have many apps downloaded on our phones, and we actually expect this year to the number of downloads to increase even further. So it's expected that just this year we'll have 250 billion downloads of apps from the Play Store, from the main Play stores. As a result of this trend, we also see that the user behavior is starting to change as well. So although we used to spend more time on mobile sites, now we spend 86% of our time on apps. What kind of apps we usually use? Gaming and entertainment apps, social, so Facebook, Twitter, messaging apps, Gmail, WhatsApp, etc., etc. Just these two categories take up about 2/3 of our time on our mobile. There is, however, a paradox here. So although we spend a lot of time on apps, still the main channel for commercial tasks are mobile sites. So you see that although 14% of our time goes on mobile sites, about 94% we prefer them for commercial tasks. So I'm sure you already have the question in your head. So when do we use a mobile app, and when would we go on the mobile site? So for an app, we usually prefer it when it comes to fast activities. So when we want to complete something, a repetitive task, very quickly. On the other hand, when it comes to mobile sites, we prefer them for quantity of information. Let's see this also from an example of a financial company and the behavior of their users on mobile site and on an app. This is just a debranded screenshot from their analytics account. So you can see that on a mobile site, 2/3 of users are going to be new visitors, whereas on an app, about 80% of visits are returning. Then also when it comes to returning visitors specifically, on a mobile site they would spend about, they would complete about 6.8 sessions, whereas on an app, 35. So you already see that when it comes to engagement, an app is definitely more relevant. Okay, so just to clarify a little bit the use case of each. So mobile web is about the reach. Mobile app is about the richness, if we can use this word. So the mobile web is more about acquisition of new users, whereas the mobile app is more about offering a more unique experience to your your highest value users. Within the finance vertical specifically, the behavior in terms of preference for channel for commercial tasks is it's in line with the overall the average trends. But when it comes to what kind of actions we prefer to do to complete on a mobile app, then this could be checking your account status and making a payment. If we were to translate this in the Forex business, so it would be something like checking how your investments are performing, or actually making a new trade as well. However, only one in two financial institutions actually offer an app. Then also from our own experience with the Forex vertical, I would say that the penetration of app is actually even lower. And then if we consider those companies that do have an app but also a dedicated app strategy, then I think the numbers are significantly lower. So We see this as definitely an opportunity for the Forex industry. And the rest of our presentation is going to focus on a research that Google conducted in partnership with Ipsos, and it will hopefully give you a little bit of understanding the behavior of users on mobile apps, how they discover new apps, and how they like to engage with them. So starting with some general app consumption trends, we actually see that most users have only a few apps, one or two, that they use very, very frequently, at least weekly or maybe even some of them daily. So obviously this means that these are your more engaged users. They interact with the business a lot more often. In terms of expenditure, although the majority won't make a transaction through an app, those who actually do will have the tendency to spend quite high amounts. This is what we call the whales. So it's the majority of your income is coming from a very small percentage of your customer base. So in order for you to identify these whales, you need to have a very strong measurement strategy in order to be able to segment and identify those users, but also a very strong retention strategy in order to get the maximum lifetime value from them. Also, when we compare the propensity to make a purchase between the more active users, the ones that are more frequently using the apps, compared to the total, then we see that these users are also significantly more likely to make a purchase. And compared to other industries and verticals, we see that within the finance, this is significantly more likely to happen. Where do the users come across the apps? Okay, in all other verticals, it's usually the app stores. But when it comes to the finance vertical, it's actually almost half said the company's website. So it's quite common for some financial companies like Lloyds Bank that we have the example here to have this stripe on the top of their homepage and promoting their app through their mobile site. Lloyds here is doing it in a very subtle way. They're not pushing it too much to the users. They're just giving the option and allow them to select which platform they prefer in order to complete their task. What are the factors that actually influence the decision to download? In terms of media strategy, search ads were ranked highest, followed very closely though by ads on video platforms, social ads, but also in-app advertising. So when it comes to you deciding your media strategy, do consider the full mix and all available channels that are out there. Yeah, familiarity with the company was ranked highest, top reason for downloading a finance app. I think it's in line with what we saw earlier, that the users will come across the app through the company's itself website. When it comes to pricing, although 4 in 5 said that price is important when making a decision, you know, just the price in order to download the app from an app store. 4 in 5 said that the price is an important factor. But then when we also asked them how much would they be willing to spend, amongst all verticals, finance actually ranked second. Second only to technological, let's say, apps. And on average, they said that they would be willing to spend $2.5. Okay, I think we're speaking a lot about engagement, and I'm sure that you're already starting to think about, okay, I don't really care about engagement, I want to see revenue. Look, there is definitely a correlation between the two, and let's see this example again, deep branded from the analytics account of a financial company. You see that the more time the users spend on the app and the more screens they see during a session, the more likely they are to convert. So definitely there is a correlation empirically, at least when we see it, that the more engaged users are more likely also to convert on your apps. So do focus on the user, do focus on offering a seamless experience on the apps, and then the rest will come. Also, the KPI for your app business shouldn't be just the installs, not just CPI. You should also measure in-app activities, the micro conversions that they might be completing inside the app, in order to understand the full ROI that you're getting from these users. So how are you going to offer a more seamless experience to the users? Make sure that the app is as simple as possible and simplifies their lives in order to complete the tasks that they want to on a daily basis, maybe, and offer clear instructions on how to actually use this app. Privacy is very important, followed by personalization. And again, this is an interesting factor specifically for the finance vertical, because for all other verticals, personalization was ranked highest. But because of the nature of the finance industry, where you want your data to be secure, number one, we had the requirement to sign in order to complete an action. And then, as we saw earlier, there will be a segment, a proportion of these users that will actually make some spend within the app. And as we saw earlier, it is likely to be much higher compared to other verticals. Okay, we all have many apps on our phone, but we don't use all of them. So actually 1 in 4 installed apps are never used. Then it was also interesting to see that although quite a few users would be willing to download an app in order to make a purchase, then 1 in 5 would also uninstall the app immediately after having completed this purchase. And why would they do so? Because they felt that they no longer need it, or they found that this app was not as useful as they had expected. So yes, do make sure that the app that you have is fulfilling the needs of the users. It's meeting the reasons why they came to your app. And then you can also offer them some incentives in order to bring back those lapsed users by offering some discount or some bonus. Again, let me bring an example from the Forex business. A bonus in order to come back to the app and make a new trade. So yeah, just to wrap up the findings, basically the discussion we had here, and coming back to the question, app or mobile web, I would like to bring up this quote from eMarketer. So the answer is not either or. It's more about what goals does each of these two platforms fulfill, and how important are each of these goals for your business. As we saw earlier, most of your customers will interact with your mobile site first as an initial touch point, But then when it comes to the more loyal users, the most engaged ones and the most valuable ones, then this would be on your apps. So if you wanted to decide which platform to prioritize for development, then you may want to consider this methodology here. We're suggesting to first understand what your business objectives are. Do you want retention, or do you want acquisition and new users? Then use your analytics tools and try to understand the behavior of users on your mobile site. So when those that come on a repeat basis on the mobile site, what do they actually want to perform on the mobile site? And then consider whether some of these use cases could be fulfilled by a more advanced technology, that of a native app. And then just to summarize the findings of the research that we saw earlier. As we said, most of the users have just a few apps that they use very, very frequently. Few will likely transact, but then those who do are more likely to spend higher amounts with your business. Most of the finance apps are actually discovered from the company's website itself. Price is an important, is a determining factor, but also advertising, search ads, but also the full media mix, as we saw earlier, should be there in order to influence this decision. Seamless user experience, simplify the user's life, offer them clear instructions on how to use the app in order to get the users engaged with the app. And then finally, consider incentives in order to re-engage a little bit with with some of your lapsed customers. That was it from me, and thank you very much for your attention. I don't know if you have any questions. If we can open the floor.
Any questions? I'll give you a mic so everybody can hear you.
One of the slides at the beginning of presentation had a picture of a small ad on top of the website from the App Store, I guess, previous one. Do you consider this as an appropriate way of promotion? It's something that
Definitely, because from what we found from the research, like about almost half of the users would find the app not by going to the app stores, but by actually visiting the company's website and finding this cross promotion, this cross platform promotion. But yeah, as we saw here, yeah, don't do it in a very intrusive way. Do make sure that the app fulfills some of the needs that the user cannot complete on the mobile side, and do communicate that so that they understand the competitive advantage, let's say. And then, yeah, just leave it up to the user to decide which platform is best for them.
Coming your way. One moment. Here you go, sir.
Hi, Tizgan Bakorta here. Have you noticed any significant discrepancy or difference in conversion rates between iOS devices and Android? We have in-house noticed drastic differences in how users convert on those two operating systems.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. Traditionally, and actually, if we look back a few years ago, probably this discrepancy was actually even higher, right? So it was more geared towards iOS. Maybe this gap is slightly closing lately, slightly.
Actually, we're finding the opposite.
Oh, really?
Android drastically kills iOS.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kills in a good way or kills in a bad way? Outperforms.
Okay. To be honest, yeah, we do hear this this trend as well. That I mean, obviously the data shows that the Android penetration is increasing. It has actually surpassed iOS as well. So yes, that probably explains this difference. But traditionally, we used to hear that iOS users were more valuable. Also, another statistic that we've seen is that the younger generation is more likely to be on an Android. I don't know if that's something that you also see in your business.
Our best converters are 45. Thank you. Our best converters at the moment in terms of CPAs are 45 to 65-year-olds on Android.
Okay.
Completely counterintuitive.
Okay, that's
Awesome. What business
that's interesting.
is this?
We do online digital marketing training.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. Thanks. We'll quote you when we show this data.
Could you suggest, based on the last year experience from the Google, actually the key success factors for the high quality acquisition campaign for the new customers? What has to be done in the company to really have a good conversion rate for the new acquisition? Probably not conversion, but to attract the new customers. What we have to predict and what is the key success factors which must to be done by the company to get a good campaign? Thank you.
I'll actually refer to my colleague's presentation from yesterday. So follow the trends. You know, there's a lot of volatility in the market, so that's obviously a good opportunity for you guys to attract new users. Make sure that you have a strong offering, and when I say offering, I mean product-wise, platform-wise. A good bonus is always an important factor. A good sales team, obviously, in order to convert the leads that you're getting. Another trend that we see in the market is that desktop volumes are going down and mobile is increasing. So if you don't, I mean, okay. As we saw earlier, yeah, not all companies have an app, but definitely if you, at the moment, you don't have a mobile site, then it might be a little bit concerning. So yes, definitely have a good mobile site and focus on the markets that tend to bring the highest lifetime value traders.
Michael Elinas, can I ask you, when do you expect this market to come to some kind of maturity? Because it is growing very fast right now. And what do you think will be the innovations coming down the line, especially if you have some insight into what the leaders are doing in this space?
You're referring to apps, yes? Okay.
The mobile ecosystem.
Okay, when is the mobile business going to become mature? Okay, if the desktop was emerging at least more than 5 years ago, I would say that for the next 5 years you should feel safe that it's still going to be growing. I mean, okay, roughly. And what was your
Sorry. The second part was, what are you seeing in terms of innovation, especially from the leaders in this space, the ones that, you know, were there first? Do you see any specific trends in terms of innovation?
I mean, they have the right assets in order to get the most out of the customer base. So some of them I can think that they also have their own trading platforms. that they promote. So as long as you get the maximum out of the users that are on your mobile sites, then I would say that this is the key.